Hi, it's me again with CorelDraw's tips and tricks. Somebody sent me this file, and this is part 2. And I've done a lot of videos on cutting a file in half to critique it and change some things. Like we've got some bad lines, like right here. So first of all, I'm going to take everything and hopefully be able to turn it into a hairline. But the line, the thing is symmetrical. That's a big key. And there's a lot of things he needs to work on. So instead of doing the whole thing, let's work on half of it. So I'm going to take a 2-point line holding down the control button, and I'm going to hit P and put it in the center of the page. Then I'm going to kind of look what side is worse than the other side. You know, this side basically has the same problem, but this one might be a little bit easier to fix than this side over here, because this has got some garbage. So let's take the virtual segment delete key and start over here and go as close as the line as you can. Whoop, I went too far. Let's go not quite so close this time. We got it all. Let's zoom in here. Let's take away these lines. And this is where he might change some ideas, like this little line right there, maybe taking it out. But that's his idea, and you know, he evidently drew this. So let's correct a couple of things, and one of them is this line right here. Of course, if you click on it and you can't do anything, you got to go to range and group and ungroup it. Then you can take the shape tool and you can see all the nodes around here. And there's actually a really bad jagged area that would be detrimental if he was going to try to cut it out. So let's look at this again and see, that's like I call that a whoop-de-doo. And we're just going to delete that and see what happens. Whoop, too much, can't do it. So what we're going to have to do is delete one of them. Whoop, can't even do that. Let's try this. Those lines are actually crossing. So let's take the virtual segment delete key and delete that. Now that line is going to have to be fixed. And same thing here, we can delete that. And then he can take the shape tool, and you actually have to probably grab both these, go up to Windows, Dockers, and join corners. No, join curves, I mean. And I'm just going to put this like 0.01, and I'm going to join those nodes. I got to select them again and say, okay. Now these are one piece, and you can move them without them breaking. And this is where he kind of wants to look back on it and, you know, maybe really critique it. You know, like every other line is pretty much square here. So why don't we add a node and put it up, add a node, and let's try to, it's kind of hard. Let's tell you what, we can put that back. Let's go right here and turn these into a line. And then we can get this, I had them both selected. We can deselect it and bring that up and maybe even get rid of that line now. Get rid of that one now. Or not line, but node. And just kind of, you know, I'd even maybe even bring in an indexing line and put it like on that node and try to get all these kind of in the middle. And I'm not telling the gentleman how to do this. Well, I'm telling him how to do it. I'm not telling him, you know, all, you know, he drew it. It's quite good. It just got a few problems. Now we're going to turn this into a curve so we can make that curve a little bit. Then like this right here, he's going to cut this out of stained glass, so you wouldn't want to do that. Or he's going to cut this out of acrylic. So my suggestion on something like that would be to take the shape tool, grab both these two nodes and bring both nodes down into that other object, take the smart or the virtual segment delete key and delete that. Now we're going to have to do the same thing, because if you start moving too many things around, so grab what you're gonna have to do is grab that line, hold down the shift key and grab that line, select them both and apply, and it's gonna make them one node. And we might even be able to delete that node and delete that node. And just go through there and find some other mistakes. Like I wouldn't have that sharp point. I would add a node by double clicking. And you know, he could play around with this forever. He might want that sharp point, but I wouldn't think so because he's going to be contouring and cutting this out. So you don't want too many points. I'd actually maybe put a little curve to it. And then let's take this and move that out of the way. So let's say we've done it all. We've done everything we're going to do. Immediately, I don't see anything really wrong. But let's do this. Let's look at this one. And I'd also actually fix that right there by maybe just joining that, maybe taking that line away. But what we could do here, let's turn this one black for a second. I'm going to right click in black. And I'm going to take the one, let's say I'm happy with this and I fixed it. I'm going to hit the plus key on the keyboard and mirror it. And then I'm going to bring that one over to here. Now it's hard to tell which one's what, but if we click on the black one, it'll tell you got black down here and just hit delete. So that, I mean, I would only do that after I made sure everything was kosher with it and you really liked it. You know, I would maybe take away some of the little bits and pieces. You know, some of them are just going to be too small. So I think we're quite happy. I'm going to turn off the indexing lines. Now we will have to join all these nodes. So I'm going to Control G to group it for a second, Control D to duplicate, get the two-sided arrow and flip it. See, we're a little bit off. It really shouldn't be. There must be something hanging over. So let's do this. Let's take our nudge factor, set on 0.001. And because this is a group, we can grab one side and just kind of move it over. I actually started moving it down too by accident. Let's zoom in here a little bit. When I was looking, it wasn't moving. It was because that right there. So now let's see if we're good at top. You know, we can fix that later. Those cross lines don't really matter right now. So what we're going to do, we're going to grab everything with the pick tool and then grab everything with the shape tool. Well, tell you what, we're going to have to shift select both sides. Well, you know what? It's because I grouped it. Let's take it all and go to arrange, group and ungroup. Select it all with the pick tool. Select it with the shape tool. And see all the nodes. And most of them are not going to be worried about. So I'm just going to swipe through here and get the middle ones. And I'm going to hit apply. And then what that's going to do, we'll see in just a second. See, that made that all one piece. So all the nodes that we moved when we were moving them now are one piece. Then you can go back and change this. You know, the easiest way is just to take the shape tool, maybe even just delete those lines if it doesn't change it too much. Of course, I'm not telling about a design. That looks pretty good. Now, these pieces are separate pieces. I think they were I should have kept the original. I maybe would join that, and that would be very easily to join. Let's just take the shape tool, and let's just move that up, move that up. Whoop. Sometimes the shape tool will do that if you hit. And just take the virtual segment delete key and delete that. And if you don't like that, you could change that hump. But if you will take the shape tool, just move that over part way, Now that time I got more than, try to get, let's take an indexing line and hit P, put it in the center of the page. I turned them off. So now our true center is right there, but that's going to help you because now we can move that line to here and that line to there, and then just take the virtual segment delete key and delete that line. And once again, you could very easily fix, see, we're not in the center there, but it doesn't have to be perfectly centered on everything. That I would take and join them. So it's just one piece now. And then just kind of look at it and make sure you got everything. Let's do the kind of like a final test like we did earlier. I'm going to take a box just in case it leaks. I'm going to take the Smart Fill tool. I'm going to use a dark blue so you can see it in the video. And I'm going to get right here. And if you remember from part 1, this is our main structure of the drawing. And it worked. I'm going to change my nudge factor to like 9. Grab that blue and mark it out of the way. So there's your main, and what that also did, that sealed up all those nodes if there were any broken. This is probably the best scenario I've ever done one on drawing half of it. And once again, like that little piece right there, I maybe would delete it because it's going to be hard. I'm not telling him what to do, but I don't think it's going to add to the drawing. You know, you've got so many pieces. Everything else looks good. Anyway, I hope that helped him a little bit, and thank you for watching.